Hayden, Michael, Devlin, Mark, Preston, Elijah, how are you guys doing today? Today's Thursday, April 30th, and we're going to review what we talked about on Tuesday concerning creating your sourced text note outlines. Okay, I hope you got this finished. You took notes from your source text 1 about how Rome began, and then you took notes from your source text 2 about how Rome began. Today I'm going to show you how to take both of these groups of notes and pick and choose and create a fused keyword outline that we can use to next week write your paragraph about Rome. Alright, so what I've done here is I've taken my notes that I showed you the other day, and I've highlighted the things that I want to use on my fused keyword outline. Remember, we can't use all of these notes, so I'm not going to be using number 2, I'm not going to be using number 5, etc. I'm just going to pick and choose the ones that I want, because on your fused keyword outline you've only got 7 lines. So you can do 6 or 7 facts or notes, and the ones I chose I highlighted to make it easier for me when I go to start writing my outline. So first of all, I decided to start my outline with the facts, the historical facts of how Rome began, which it came from the source text 2, Rome's beginnings. And then I'm going to end my paragraph with the legend. So first of all, I'm going to talk about that the people of Rome settled on the 7 hills near the Tiber River. So I'm going to transfer this note to here. They settled on the 7 hills near the Tiber River. Then I'm going to mention that they joined together as an army and invaded other villages and towns. Joined as an army, invaded. And my next one is going to be about, I'm going to combine number 5 and number 6 here. That in 753 BC, the first king Romulus became the first king, and from there they grew to an enormous empire. So I have put here first king in 753 BC, and then they grew to, and this is my up arrow, which indicates big, great, enormous, whatever you want to call it, empire. Then I'm going to start talking about the legend, okay, which is in here from the source text 1. The legend of Romulus and Remus. Now, since I've already mentioned the first king in note in number 3, line number 3, I'm going to repeat that here. There is a legend about that first king Romulus and his brother Remus. Oh, by the way, they were left on the Tiber River by their evil uncle. And notice how I changed the word order from uncle left Tiber River to left on Tiber River by uncle. You can word it however you like. Then I'm going to mention that they were rescued by a wolf. This is the most famous part of this legend because it seems so strange. And raised by shepherds. Okay, that's from here. And lastly, I'm going to mention that they fought and Remus died and Romulus ended up being the one who built the city. Okay, so I'm not going to mention that he was the king because I've already mentioned that twice here. So, but this kind of brings it all back around to how Rome began, that he ended up building the city. Okay, so this is my fused keyword outline. And this is what you'll be doing for your homework tonight or this weekend. Okay, you're going to take notes from your 2 sources that you've already taken and pick and choose the ones that you want to fuse together, to combine together for your keyword outline that you will use next week to write your paragraph. Okay, so from this point, this is a normal project, writing project. You have a keyword outline and you write a paragraph. Okay, and just a couple things to remember. I suggest you leave the title empty till you're done. That way it will be easier to match your clincher to your title, because remember that your clincher has to repeat or reflect 1 to 3 keywords from your title. So these two have to have 1 to 3 keywords that are the same. And your clincher also must reflect or repeat 2 to 3 words from your topic sentence. Okay? So that clincher has double duty. Keep that in mind when you're doing your writing. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to you about is something that I would like you to start adding to your writing. Although this is your last writing project, if you guys didn't realize that. So, but I want you to add to this writing project is something called a prepositional opener, and it's called a number 2 because there are many openers that you can use when you're writing sentences. And an opener is just a phrase that begins a sentence, a phrase at the beginning of a sentence. This one is number 2. So when you're writing your rough draft, I want you to label your prepositional opener with a number 2 out on the margin so that I can see that that is your prepositional opener. Now, what is a preposition? Well, here's a list of prepositions that if you take my class next year, we will be memorizing this list. All right, there's 50 of them. There are more prepositions, but these are 50 of the most common ones: about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, behind, below, beneath. You can see that they're positional words. They indicate the position of something. It was above the clouds, or below the table, okay, or on the table, or over the hill. Okay, it tells where something is. It could be where it is in space, or it could be where it is in time, like during our class period. Okay, but they tell the position of something. Okay, so when you make a prepositional phrase that you'll use in your prepositional opener, the preposition always has to be followed by a noun. Okay, in what? In revenge for the Persian Wars. This is the prepositional phrase. Okay, in revenge. Revenge is a noun. Prepositions always have to be followed by a noun or a pronoun. But here's an example. In revenge for the Persian Wars, Alexander attacked Persia. And this is talking, of course, about Alexander the Great. In revenge for the Persian Wars is the prepositional opener. And you have to have a comma after the prepositional opener. Okay? In revenge for the Persian Wars, comma, Alexander attacked Persia. Another example. Outside my window, I heard my dog barking at a squirrel. Here's the preposition, outside. And outside my window is the prepositional phrase. Notice outside, the preposition is followed by a noun, window. Comma. Okay, outside my window, comma, I heard my dog barking at a squirrel. So, you don't have to do anything with this weekend. I'll review it with you next week when you begin to write your paper, but I want you to add a prepositional opener to your paragraph. All right, so there's the preposition, and there's outside my window. Okay. Another thing I want to talk to you about is, I got these out of order here, an ly adverb opener. Okay, this is another way to open a sentence, and this is called the number 3. So if you use one of these, I want you to put a number 3 out here in the margin somewhere to indicate that you've used an ly adverb opener. Now you all know what ly adverbs are, so this is an easy one. You just put an ly adverb at the beginning of your sentence and put a comma after it. Conveniently, my family has plenty of toilet paper. Okay, so here's your ly adverb, comma, and the rest of your sentence. Okay, that's pretty easy. Here's another one. Eventually, this awful pandemic will be over. Ly adverb, comma, the rest of your sentence. Okay, that's a number 3 opener. There are many. There are 5, 4, 5, 6 different, 7 kinds of sentence openers, but these are just the number 1, number 2, and number 3. But I do want to caution you about ly adverb imposters. If we haven't talked about this already, some ly words that end in ly are not adverbs. These, what kind of words are these? Yeah, they're adjectives because they describe something. The ugly house, the prickly cactus. Okay, the lonely girl, the friendly cat, the chilly morning. Okay, these end in ly, but they describe a thing, a person, place, or thing. Ly adverbs describe an action. Okay, like how something was done or when something was done. Here's some examples that I used for my other class. You may recognize some of the names here: Jaden, Brooks, and Roger. Occasionally, we used to play hangman in writing class. Jaden, who loves that game, would eagerly wait for her turn. Between Brooks breaking pencils and Roger ruminating over the right answer, Jaden thought they would never guess correctly. Okay, first of all, you see I've underlined two words. Why? These are ly adverbs, eagerly and correctly. They tell how they never would guess. They guessed correctly, or didn't guess correctly. And how they waited, how she waited, eagerly waited. Okay. There's your ly adverb opener. Okay, this is a number 3 because it's an ly adverb opening up the sentence. We used to play hangman in writing class. Jaden, who, there's your who which clause, who loves that game. Remember the comma before the who which clause and after the who which clause. Would eagerly wait for her turn. And then here we have an alliteration. Between Brooks breaking. Here we have another alliteration. Roger ruminating right. Notice there are two small words between the R words. And that's okay as long as it doesn't interrupt the flow of the Roger ruminating over the right answer. Okay, here's another example. During the pandemic quarantine, we have undeniably been playing a heap of board games and video games because there's not much else to do. Eventually, we'll be able to see our friends again, and our leisurely, lonely lives will get back to normal. All right, I'm sure lots of you probably feel this way, right? Okay, there's your ly adverb. It's not an opener. It's in the middle of a sentence, not the beginning. This sentence has a prepositional opener. Okay, you can see the word during. During is a preposition. Okay. During the pandemic, notice it's followed by a noun, so it's a prepositional phrase. During the pandemic quarantine, comma, we have undeniably, there's your ly adverb, playing a heap of board games. Heap could be a quality adjective, because, there's the because clause, because there's not much else to do. Now here's an ly adverb opener. Eventually, comma, we'll be able to see our friends again. And our leisurely, lonely lives, there's an alliteration, will get back to normal. Okay, so notice here that leisurely and lonely, these are adjectives. They're not ly adverbs. Okay, because they're describing lives. Okay, so these are examples of prepositional openers and ly adverb openers that you're going to use in your papers when you write next week. All right, so that's all we have for today. I just want to review with you what your homework is. You're going to be studying for a spelling test on Tuesday, and the words are on the forum, but you should have them in your binder. Also, you're going to be taking your notes from your two source texts and writing your fused keyword outline, so that next week you can take that fused keyword outline and write your paragraph. Okay? And of course, don't forget Horse and His Boy. We're going to read chapter 13 of Horse and His Boy. You'll have vocabulary words and questions as usual. And then on Tuesday we'll discuss those along with whatever else we need to discuss. Okay? So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday. Bye-bye.